everybody, this is Taylor with foreUP. I am one of our Assistant Director of Client Success over here. And for this presentation, we're going to be going through how to use your data within foreUP. So moving on here, why is data important? No matter what industry you're in, collecting data, knowing how to use it's going to be useful, and how to use that, how to collect it, to use it for your advantage. And then how to make sure that it's clean. We want to make sure that it's something you can actually use or know what it is that you're looking at. And we'll go through some ways and some tips that you can use the software or resources that are available for you to be able to do that. So we're going to cover specifically things in your database such as your customer information. So you have repeat customers, you have new customers. How do you collect that data? How are you going to use it? And how can you automate that as much as possible? Same thing with your inventory. So you can group your inventory, and then what are you going to do with that data? How can you audit it, make sure it's accurate? And then finally, we're going to end by talking about your employee permissions. So making sure that your staff has access to do their job, but also not too much access that they can get lost, confused, or maybe even make some mistakes that are going to affect the reports and things that you need every day. So we'll go through all of that as part of this. So we'll start with your customer data. So collecting data allows you to market, allows you to be engaged with your customers and hopefully create repeat business, which is really what we're looking to push here. And here are just a few things that you can do with the customer data within foreUP. So these are things that you most likely already have access to or that are available to you that you may not even be aware of. So to get started, you can see here we have tea time confirmation. So the ability to, as you book a tea time, it'll email and notify the customer. It can send them reminders to help reduce no-shows, send thank you messages after they play, send marketing emails that are custom to your course and things that you want to announce and be engaging, such as newsletters or promotions or of any kind, just to be engaging in that sort of way. And one of the coolest features is just our two-way texting. So a really personal engagement tool to be involved as long as you have, again, that information for that customer. We also have the ability to do email receipts if you want to go paperless, such as using statements and emailed statements for billing, as well as things as birthday clubs, sending out messages for birthday clubs that, again, you may not have previously been aware of. So moving on here as part of that customer data, we want to make it as easy as possible for you to collect this data that's out there from your customers. So it's doing things that you're already doing. You can actually require your staff to get specific information. If you're getting just a first and a last name, it's maybe not the most helpful, but if you can get an email or if you can get a phone number, even an address if you're into sending out mailers, those are all pieces of information that you can do something with for a customer account. This is pretty easy. Within the customers module, you can actually go to your page settings and you can control either from the customer module or from the T-sheet what information you're requiring your staff to get or to save. These are things that can include, again, email, phone number, cell phone number, address, state, birthdays for those birthday clubs, and zip codes if you want to know the general locations of where people are coming from to play your course. Moving on, other recommendations to help you gather more information is going to be always selecting the always list all function or setting to collect not just the captain's information, but their friends. So you can gather emails and phone numbers from the T-sheet directly for all players. You can even use customer groups. So you can group your customers in any sort of way. If you want to do men's leagues, if you want to do ladies leagues or juniors, memberships. Again, you can use birthdays for something like this. And this is easily done, again, using a bulk edit in foreUP's customer portal. So you can do a bulk edit to edit everybody to a specific group. And then regularly checking your customer database to make sure you don't have duplicates. And if you do, deleting those or merging those together. We had a scenario where there was a larger course that came over to foreUP and decided to bring none of their customer information with them and encouraged all customers to actually create their accounts online asking for all information, and they were able to go about getting all their customers' information that way and really eliminated duplicates. That is something that's available. You can actually make your customers sign up and create their own online accounts, and those will show up in your customer or your foreUP account, your foreUP database. Just to recap some of the customer data side of things. So gathering information can be easy. You're already booking tee times. You're already entering names in there. It's just a matter of asking for an email or a phone number and doing that from the tee sheet. Or if you want to go more in depth, you can do that from the customer module as well. And then once you gather that information, let's try to use that to drive some sales and increase customer engagement by sending emails, sending text messages of various kinds, right? And we can do that through several ways by automating it, as long as you gather that information. And then if you want to, you can even do engaging or be more engaging by using foreUP's FMS and automated messages such as those thank you and reminder emails and text messages. All right, moving on to inventory here. Some of the things that we're going to be covering with inventory are how to have a clean inventory system, how to group things together and make sure that it's clean enough for your reports, the reports that you're using every day to know how your sales and the health of your course are at any given time. One thing I would ask you in this particular situation is, what information do you want to see? This is customizable. So we can go through and we can group things by suppliers. If you want to see how your TaylorMade or your Ping or Caldwell, whatever it might be, how you're doing in that particular supplier, or if you want to do that by the type of items such as hard goods, soft goods, apparel, golf balls, golf clubs, all of those things are going to be customizable to you and what you want to do to drive those sales and see that on your reports. And then how to lock that down so we don't have staff going in and accidentally creating multiple departments or categories that they may not even be realizing again that they're doing. And then how to do audits. So how to make sure that my inventory counts are accurate and up to date on a monthly or weekly basis, whatever that is that works best for your facility and your operation. Because as we all know with inventory, it's as soon as you do an inventory audit, it seems like you're off again one way or the other. So managing inventory structure, departments, categories, and subcategories are all ways that you can group inventory together. And then we really want to, again, ask ourselves, what do you want to see? How do you want to track your data? We aren't going to tell you your categories have to be a certain way. Generally, the departments are going to be a little bit more broad. The categories will be more specific. And then subcategories are optional. So one of the things that I want to show you now is we're going to jump in here, and in this particular account, you can see that I have a department that's food and beverage, and I have some that's just food. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to search, and I want to consolidate. I want all of my food items to be grouped in a F&B department. So I'm going to select all. Using foreUP's bulk edit right here in the bottom right-hand corner, I'm going to select department. And because the F&B already exists, as I go ahead and I start typing that in, you're going to see it show up in the drop-down, and I can just select that. And I'm going to change all of these 9 items to be in the F&B department instead of the food department. So that, for me now, is going to make my data a lot cleaner. It was really duplicating some of that work that I didn't need. So that's an example of something that you can do very easily in your system now to clean up the data that you may already have in there, especially if you've been using foreUP for a while, creating different items year after year. Those departments and categories tend to need to clean up every so often. The next thing we're going to is, now that your data is set, you've gone through, you've grouped everything by department, by category, maybe by subcategory if you so choose, you actually have the option to go in and lock down those creations. So you're going to actually, instead of typing something in, your staff specifically will have to select from an existing drop-down for the departments, categories, and subcategories. That's going to be found in the settings. If you need any help with that, feel free to reach out to our support, CSM, AM, anybody that you know at foreUP would be happy to help with that. Moving on to our inventory audit function capability. This is something that, again, that everybody has access to if you have access to the inventory module. Inventory audits are changing. You don't have to do everything all at once. You don't have to close down the entire shop while you do your inventory audit. This can be something done on a slow day in the afternoon when you have 30 minutes. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go through and on our inventory audit page here, you can see there's the option to select a category or department. So if you have everything grouped together by categories and departments, I can actually come in here and say, I just want to do an inventory audit for my golf balls when I have a free minute. So I can inventory these 4 items and then save and finish instead of having to do my clubs, my hard goods, my soft goods, my apparel, my clubs, whatever it might be. I can go in, I can break that down, I can make it manageable pieces, I can have my staff help where I'm not worried about them getting lost or in a complex inventory audit situation. So this can be something that you do on a regular basis in your free time or as things are slow at the club. Moving on a little bit more here. So we're just to recap what we've talked about with inventory. We want to keep your inventory group together. So find some categories that work for you and that you want to be able to track and know where you're at. From there, we want to make sure that you have the time that you need to talk to your customers, to do the things that you need to on a regular basis and not spend your time doing your inventory audits. So do that as you have time, break it down, make it more manageable for you, and free up some time for you. Okay. Moving on to the employee permissions and access. You've got all of your data set. Your inventories is grouped by departments and categories, subcategories. Your customers, you're requiring your staff to get emails and phone numbers. Now I want to make sure that my staff isn't going to abuse that. So they're able to get the information that they need, but they're not going to be overwhelmed by having access to the marketing module to send emails when that's not something that they're going to be doing on a regular basis. Or that they don't have access to my suppliers or receivings modules if that's not something that they're going to be doing. I'm going to be able to give them access to what they need, and then I can get very specific into what they can do within various modules within the foreUP system. So all of this is designed to reduce risk of employees making mistakes. And if there are mistakes that we're able to track, maybe who's doing it so that we can know how to address it, right? If we need to reduce some permissions or kind of expand some as needed. So within foreUP, you have the employees module. Most tasks in foreUP are going to actually be tracked by the user that is currently logged in. So in the top right-hand corner, it'll tell you the name of the individual who's logged in. So sometimes you don't log out. You may say somebody else. We encourage you to log out and log in using your own login. So you can see under the sales data, you can see who is doing the sale. You can see who's creating a specific marketing campaign or who opened a register log, whatever it might be. A lot of that's going to be tracked by the employee that's currently logged in. So using that, we can create specific roles that will give them the access again that they need. So if they're just making tee times and running sales, let's make sure that that's what they have access to do. They're not going to get in trouble for deleting a customer or editing a balance or, again, creating a marketing email that isn't something that they should be doing on a regular basis. And then with continued focus, what we can do is we can actually reduce mistakes and errors by giving the training to those who need it. So if there is additional training, again, we are happy to help with that with our CSM team. Make sure that your staff is getting the training they need if you're not able to provide that for any reason. Going over our recap here for employee permissions and access, managing and controlling access permissions can be easy. Unique logins create a lot of transparency for you to know who's doing what. One of our suggestions, if you aren't using roles, go ahead and start. Just start by creating maybe one role and getting a little bit more specific about what you want that particular role to do. For example, your front counter golf shop help. Typically, they're going to be booking tee times, running sales. Do you want them to be booking leagues? Do you want them to be scheduling those, or just being able to check people in? So you can go in and get very specific. Again, if you need help or don't know how to do that, please reach out. That's what we're here for. We'd love to help you show you how to use some of this. But ultimately, we want to make sure that you have good data, access to good data that's informative, that's something that will help you and help the course move forward. So set some goals to obtain the data, and then use that data to then move forward and say, what are we going to do? Are we going to get more information? Are we going to try to get more customers? And then have a goal to send one email or one text message to use some of these features that maybe you haven't previously to be a little bit more engaging. So with that information, hopefully you can make more informed decisions, improve the customer and employee experience, and then have data create both long and short-term business goals as you guys move forward throughout your season. So this is your data, this is your account. We want you to make sure that it works for you and your club, and see where that takes you.